Hello, fans of the Dungeon Journal! It's me, MrReeeee, with my good friend PandaTV. Yes, his hair has not grown, but God, does he look good. Panda, how are you?
It's growing on the back. I'm growing a mullet for charity, if you don't know.
It's actually a skullet.
Yeah, skullet. So it is actually for charity, before you judge me too harshly. I own a non-for-profit, helps homeless people, and every $5,000 donated in a month, I have to grow it for the next month. So it's for a good cause.
Yeah,
so I'm going to look like a horrible human being.
I don't know about horrible human being. I mean,
as someone from Western Sydney who's had a mullet in the past and has head and face tattoos, most other people from Western Sydney with head and face tattoos and mullets, we're pretty bad. So
okay, look, I'm just trying to make you know that with age, you know, there's other qualities that are really important.
I'm aging like cheese.
Yeah, you smell really bad, and for people at home, you're
but delicious.
You know? I'm not saying you're delicious.
He's saying I'm delicious. What are we're talking today about meta versus non-meta.
Yeah, I thought it'd be really good. A lot of people say in the comments that you and me are really fun to see argue. So I thought, why not throw the gauntlet down? Let's talk about meta versus non-meta.
Easy.
It's okay, easy, as long as you agree with me and say that it's super important. That meta is the way to play. I don't want to hear like my argument.
Stop it!
My argument off the bat is
who's this guy? What
humans, and to play this game, play this game to optimize. They want to optimize their gameplay. Okay, there's a reason. There's a meta. There's a reason. Okay, people aren't going and be like, yeah, I'm going to play 5 paladins in this key because I can.
If 5 of their friends are paladins.
No, they're not. They're not going to.
You don't know. No, look, there's one clear problem with this whole scenario, and I've said this for years on stream, okay? You're gonna hear me say it again. Ready? This is the problem. People that do weekly 5 to 10 keys, okay? Balancing in this game right now is actually really good. That's a fair thing to say. Overall, for the general public, balancing has probably never been better than it ever has been right now, okay? And that's across the board for PvE, PvP, Mythic Plus, whatever, right?
Yes.
For the general public, before you start commenting, you're typing right now, delete, wait until I'm finished saying my point, right? The problem is, right now, people will watch Echo, Limit, Method, Raid, and do M+. They'll watch MDI, they'll watch the highest PvP comps. They convince themselves that their guild, their Mythic Plus group, or their PvP group need to be the same composition, the same meta comps that they're playing to do the raid clears in 6 months from release, right, where they're playing a nerf, different patch, nerfed version of the thing where our power's increased, our eye level's increased, comps get nerfed and buffed and whatever else after the world first race is done. They have different comps for MDI, right, classes get buffed and nerfed, but they'll watch people do that kind of stuff. And I get it, to play devil's advocate for my own argument, I get it. People always want to do well. But the truth of the matter and the actual factual thing is you do not need to play the same comp as Method or Echo or Limit to clear the raid in 5 months from release. You do not. That is factually, I think, a fair thing to say.
I think it's like, yes, you do not need to, but then that's saying let's talk about imaginary land, okay? Like reality says right now, if I log in as an Org Evoker and I start asking...
doesn't count! Don't bring the one example we've ever had into the game. That is the one... I said in the tier list video, that is the one example of a class that has been absolutely taken out to pasture. Okay, that is the one time. Don't you bring them into this.
Just saying, if you're like, hey, do you want to bring an org to a group? You're not getting invited, man.
That's that one's fair. I will give you org. But that is a different... We all know that is a different...
I find it fun. But I find it fun.
Okay.
Okay, but it's the same thing. Like, if finding it hard to be a Shadow Priest right now with Disc Priest being so dominant... You know, people aren't going to be able to play it. And then hold on.
But this is a community problem.
Wait, it's not a community problem
It is.
Because it's the reason people are playing meta because they want to improve. So if I want to improve as a player at any point in level, wouldn't I want to play things that are doing well for a reason? Shouldn't I be learning to pick Vengeance Demon Hunter because they have a Shadow Meld mechanic which helps me optimize my route for my team?
Sure, okay, sure, I'll give you that. But the problem is you want to do 15 plus keys. Okay, a Shadow Priest should be able to log in and get invited to a 10. That's fair to say, right? This is where the disconnect is, in my opinion, right? I agree. If you want to push high-end content, you want to do that, you should need to play a meta class because that will help you, one, get into groups, two, learn the routes and do all these things and do all the things that you need to do. But there should be an understanding that someone that's 670 eye level on their not Organ Evoker, but let's say any other class of the game, let's say Shadow Priest, Survival Hunter, all these things, right? They should 1000% be invited to a 10 key. And if that's the only content they want to do, they should be able to do that. And I think that's where it becomes a community issue. And what I mean by that is people need to stop having this illusion that they couldn't take... You could time a 10 key with 5 Guardian Druids. The reality is, right? We're not talking about the level of gameplay that you're currently doing, right? So this is where my argument comes back into play, I think, where I'm talking about the basic level of gameplay where, let's say, the average player base are doing 4 to 8 keys is what the average player is doing in the masses, right? Yeah. So I'm even going one step further and going 10s. Any class in the game of any composition, there are multiple groups in the world that do 10s without a healer, right? Yep. So I'm talking about that level of gameplay. Anyone can do anything, and I think this meta versus non-meta argument gets dangerous when Shadow Priests aren't getting invited to 10s.
Yeah, I think Look, in the sense of everybody can do these class of play where everything's balanced in a good spot, you can play anything. I think the part is that people are human beings, they want to optimize their group, and if you completely disregard the meta and say it doesn't matter where I play, you're going to find it hard to get into groups. On the opposite side, if you hold on too much to the meta, you won't get groups running because nobody want to join or play with you. If you're just going to be in this closed mind that I can't complete this 10 unless I have the optimum group. But you also have to understand it's there for a reason. The reason people are doing it because it does have its benefits.
Yeah,
it's meta for a reason, and you need to be more flexible with that.
Yeah.
Don't bring Org Evokers to your group.
So to round this video off, don't bring Org Evokers, but everything else, if you're doing 10s and under, they can come to your
raid. You should get frowned upon too. I think there's a lot of hate from me. If I'm sitting there building my key and there's a Brewmaster in queue and there's a Demon Hunter, I'm going to pick the Demon Hunter, man.
For a 10? Even for a 10?
I'd love to... We should do a video series that you and me log on and we just invite the first people into our group.
Okay, you got to answer that question. For a 10? For a 10, would you still take a Demon Hunter over?
Every time.
You are a horrible person.
I wouldn't.
Horrible.
Yeah, man. Yeah, all the time.
Just take the Brewmaster. It's a 10. Get out of your head.
Yeah, no.
This is the narrative that we've created in our head as players, right?
But it's not just the narrative. This is how I envision it, okay? The key is already set at, this difficulty.
Yep.
All right?
It's a 10. It's not going to ramp up in difficulty if you take a non-meta class. That's what you're going to say.
Yeah. And the game is already difficulty. I don't know these players.
Okay.
Okay, it's a 10.
Okay.
Some of these players...
And one of them's from Ragnaros.
Yep. Okay, I'm not... I don't know how we want to go for throwing them under the bus here. We just lost another Deadly and now the Ragnarosian people. We've burnt a lot of bridges in this first part. Okay. Already there are unknowns. Okay, I'm going to start my key. I don't know the players in my group. Okay. Someone could disconnect from my group.
Yep.
Someone could not know how to play their class.
Yep.
Someone could fight and leave.
Yep.
I'm going to counteract those unknowns by knowing that this class does well.
Sure, it's a 10.
Correct. Those other things are still valid.
Yeah,
I'm not going to time that 10 if my DPS is poo.
Oh, yeah, you will.
But if I get
a 10, you will.
No, you won't, man. Yeah. No, what 10s are you doing with bugs, man? What do you mean it's a 10?
There's carry groups that sell 2 of the slots in 10s.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the carry group isn't an Org Evoker, okay? This is what I'm saying. You would bring an Unholy DK because if the non-meta Windwalker monk you brought and the rogue is shit, you know you're going to time it with just that Unholy DK because he's a meta class.
I think 10s and under, I think the community... Listen before you shake your head.
I'm not talking.
Because I've got to round off the video, okay? I think 10s and under, I think it's a fair thing to say that people need to get out of their heads a little bit, and especially groups that are like heroic raiding groups and maybe the first 4 Mythic in the first 5 months of the raid tier coming out. I think they need to be a little more lenient outside of Augmentation Evokers. Okay, I'll give you that one. I think they need to be a little bit more lenient, and I think we've gone a bit too far with the meta argument. Is what I'm trying to say, right? I think that a lot more people need a bit of a reality check of what is actual meta for what they're doing, right? Same as early PvP. Unholy DK isn't saying it's crazy high end, but early rated, lower rated PvP, Unholy is almost unbeatable. It just does so much damage, right? So I think in fair to round it off, I think it's okay to say that yes, while the meta argument is still there, I think more people need to be more realistic with the level of gameplay they play at while trying to invite people.
And I don't think you can hate on people that like to play with the meta, though.
And that's fine.
As long as okay. As long
We
as
can
it's
still
fine.
be friends. You know,
Okay.
look, there we go. If you've enjoyed this video, we are the Dungeon Journal. Comment, let us know that we're wrong. I'm PandaTV. That's MrReeeee. We'll see you in the next one.
That was good.